When I was a young man fighting in my father's armies against those who would hinder the ambitions of our house, never would I have thought that one day I would be called king. Yet here I am, a crown upon my head, sanctified by the Pope himself, and ruling over a vast realm. Yet life gets no easier. There are times I worry for the fortune of our house. My daughter, Fredesenda, is bold and confident, more like me than I'd like to admit, but too eager to prove herself to those who would restrict her. My grandson Tancred worries me more, too concerned with money and friends than of learning to rule. I wonder what trials the future holds for my family. Hello Wanderers, welcome back to our Crusader Kings 3 roleplay series, and welcome to the court of the King of Sardinia, Richard Drengot. As you will have seen in the last episode, we did indeed become the king of these lands after receiving the blessing of the Pope, and now we have our own court, our own servants, and our own right to rule these lands in the royal prerogative. So this is our court, and this here, of course, is King Jordan, and we do have his daughter and heir, Princess Fredesenda, and we have some other members of our court here, some guests, a mayor, some more guests, our granddaughter, of course, our vassals and our knights are all here in our court, though it is a little bit barren looking at the moment. We did just become king after all, and obviously we had a well fleshed out and furnished court over in Salerno, but as you may recall, we recently moved all of our capital to the county of Cagliari, so it's understandable that some things may be a little bit unfurnished. After all, moving an entire court across the Mediterranean could be a little bit difficult. I'm sure some of you guys know how difficult moving is already, so imagine how it was back in the medieval times. Don't worry though, we'll get things fleshed out. We do have more important matters to attend to, such as holding court for the first time, which I think we will be doing right now. Let us see who has come to petition King Jordan. Sitting on our throne, we gesture for the guards to open the doors. People stream in, lining up in front of the throne. There are several of them here with their petitions for their new king. We gesture for them to approach. My vassal, Mayor Pyros, approaches the throne with a young man in tow. My liege and king, he spouts, my acquaintance, Gerard de Toron, seeks the honor of serving in your retinue of knights. Give him the opportunity to prove his quality. The man knows his way around a spear and will not let you down when it counts. Let's see, who do we have here? Gerard de Toron. He is a good Catholic Norman lad. He is, he's pretty good. Brave, humble, impatient, skilled tactician, and a logistician. He's got a very high martial, and he has pretty high prowess. I do believe that we will allow Gerard to be one of our knights. One of my guard approaches with my guest Marietta in chains, trailing behind him. I caught Marietta here in the process of sending sensitive information to foreign spies in Riyadh. What should we do with her? Oh dear, Marietta. A spy, are we? What could we do with a spy? We shall imprison her. I am faced with Angèle de la Congounel's sad eyes, which grow larger and more pitiful as her acquaintance Gilbert gently ushers her towards my throne. King, he laments, this girl has been at Pager's court with no one to watch over her since the disappearance of her dear papa. Please, look to her future. What can be done with such a child? Angèle de la Congounel? Well, I suppose we can find somebody to tutor, perhaps Tristan d'Angers, our knight. Well, Okay, sure. It's suggesting that Tristan shall be a good person to do so. So, all right, we can do that. She is taking a martial education, so that's fine. As the last petitioner departs, various courtiers follow them out of the room, having business to attend elsewhere. Others remain talking amongst themselves about the recent proceedings. Soon, the ceremonial formality of the proceedings has dropped away entirely, with the hum and bustle of normal courtly life taking its place. My business here is done. So, that concludes court for the day. Now, we have a few other pieces of business to attend here. Namely, let us take a look and refamiliarize ourselves with some of these important characters. We do have, obviously, our daughter Fredesenda, who is our daughter and heir. And she's already 46 years old. And no doubt she is chafing under the restrictions placed upon her due to her gender. And one can imagine that if she gets her chance to rule, that she will be doing all she can to prove herself worthy of that title. Of course, her husband is the good and honorable Gilbert Leblanc, who has served us well as a knight and as a chancellor for many, many years now. He is a good man, and he will make a good prince consort one day. Of course, here we also have our grandson, Richard Drengot. He is arrogant, content, gregarious, fortune builder. I imagine Tancred as somebody who doesn't really believe in responsibilities. He's never had responsibilities that have forced him to actually go out and prove himself. And so he's just he's your typical young nobleman, arrogant. He doesn't have any ambitions. He likes to hang around with his friends, and he cares mostly about money more than anything else. Not really exactly who you would want to be a ruler, but that's just the situation as it is. Sybil Carling, of course, a member of the House of Carling. She is a little bit more ambitious than her husband, though equally as arrogant, stubborn, and irritable. Probably not the type of woman you would want to have as your wife, but well, you're stuck with her for now, Tancred. He also has 2 children, Adelaide and Tancred Jr. here. So hopefully they will grow up to be a little bit better than their father. Tancred is our great-grandson, of course, and our great-granddaughter here. We also have a granddaughter, Stephanie Drengot, and she is unmarried as of yet, but she is 16, which means that we can find her a spouse. And looking at that list here, I believe that Duke Pierre of Savoy is a pretty decent option for the number 1 choice. He's nearby, just over here in northern Italy. He seems to be a pretty reasonable man, compassionate, impatient, shy, just a pretty decent guy altogether. Not a particularly great ruler or anything, but he does have a few extra claims as well, so he's a reasonably powerful man. So I think that seems to be pretty good, and it will be an alliance as well, so we'll arrange that. We also have a couple other daughters as well. Princess Albarada, unknown murderer, takes after our father, I suppose. Married here to Count William of Lisieux. They have a few children together. We do also have, of course, Princess Wilmot of Sardinia, married to Sir Lo Fitzelice, who is a decent man as well. He is one of the cousin, I believe, to the Count of Messina. We could perhaps invite him to our court, though he would not accept. So, no matter there. And lastly, our youngest daughter, Princess Maud, who is married to Frere de Hauteville, who is the son of Count Frere. So that concludes the majority of our family. Of course, Jonathan did die in the last episode. Now his son rules here in Capua, though we did have to exchange the county of Capua in order to receive the Pope's blessing here as King of Sardinia. So Jonathan Jr., JJ, now serves as a vassal of the Pope. However, he is ill, so we do worry about his health. But hopefully he will be okay. He does have a couple children as well, a few daughters. So there you go. Oh, and of course, how could I forget Bartholomew, our wayward youngest brother who once led a rebellion to attempt to take over Capua from us and was put down harshly. He is rakish and scarred, and he has been wandering the land. He's currently here in northern Germany doing God knows what, and, well, he can stay there for all we care. He betrayed us. He is not welcome here in Sardinia. So that's pretty good. Everything's going pretty well there. We do have some empty council positions, so let's try to fill them. Who would be best over in here? Well, I suppose we could have the... You know what? I would put the mayor of Amalfi there. I don't think it's going to win him over that much, though. So why don't we give Tancred a little bit of responsibility and make him our steward for now. You can increase development over here in Cagliari. And we need a new marshal as well. So the best option for that, I believe, would be, yes, our new knight, Gerard de Toron, can serve as our new marshal. So you can increase the control over here in Cagliari as well, since that is our new capital. And our spymaster here, Mayor Herbert. Well, he's an interesting fellow. Not as interesting as our last spymaster, Margot. She had some interesting thing goings on. I do recall in one of the episodes where we were informed that two people in our court were having an affair. That was actually Margot informing us that she was having an affair with one of the people in our court. So she just told us that she was having an affair, which I found was pretty interesting. She was an interesting woman, that Margot. A once-in-a-lifetime kind of spy master. We can also ransom some folks here, so why don't we do that? We have some hooks that will expire soon, but I don't know how useful they're going to be. We could invite this person to court, but I don't see why we would really want to. We do also have our former subject, and I say former subject because I am going to revoke this guy's title here, the County of Tortoli. He fought in that war against us where we tried to take over the rest of Sardinia from the Sardinians. So let's just revoke his title and get this all kind of cleaned up and under our own hand as it is now. So that does put us with too many holdings. So I would perhaps like to look for somebody who we can give off a title to. Somebody who would perhaps be a good person worthy of such a reward. Perhaps we shall have... You know what, who would be good? Gilbert. Gilbert can rule a county. He is Fredisenda's husband, so yeah, why don't we grant him a title? And it'll stay in the family there, so we're going to give Gilbert the county of Napoli. I believe it is one of our better counties. But that's okay. He seems to be deserving of it, so we're going to let time tick down a little bit here. We're going to try to get control over our counties, and that should be plenty to do for now. An inspired person can be sponsored. Halima has the artisan inspiration. She wants to make a chest. She is very confident at her craft. 50 gold to make a chest? No thanks. I think we're going to save the gold because I would like to start a construction project here in Cagliari to construct a new holding. So we're going to build a city up here in the mountains, the barony of Sasami. So we'll let that roll through as well. Court event available. Poor manners. As the loud belch echoes through the dining hall, all conversation abruptly ceases. My Archbishop Raynor pats his stomach and grins. Ah, better out than in, me dad always said. Raynor, wow. Okay. Various courtiers exchange incredulous glances before my knight Turstan looks directly at me and exclaims, "My king, that was wholly inappropriate. Certainly you agree." Raynor is a man of God. Let us treat him as such. Archbishop or not, Raynor will learn proper manners. Oh, come now. Like we all haven't let one loose before. Now, I think Raynor does need to learn proper manners. Even though he won't endorse us anymore, we can't simply let somebody embarrass us at our court. No, we gotta sort things out. At first, I thought the simple footman a fool for stepping onto the training field. However, the battle proved more hard-fought than I expected, and it gradually became clear that he would be unable to stop his wild and vicious strikes from hurting me. Disarming him suddenly became a matter of life and death. I tried not to show my relief when his sword finally hit the ground. Pretty skilled warrior here. Brave, wrathful, ambitious. Could use more people like you. Well, I don't think we're gonna kill this man. We could use more knights. Knights are always useful. So I think we're gonna make him a knight, even though that gives us a little bit of stress. Let us look at our knights, by the way. I wonder if we can... Oh yeah, see, we only have 7 of 15 knights, so we could really use a lot more knights here. So we'll basically accept any knights that we can gather to our cause. We will also ask our head of faith for some gold, because we need gold in order to justly rule these lands and protect it from the forces that may attempt to take it away from Christendom. And the Pope greatly acquiesces. I will use this wealth wisely. Thank you, good Pope. We do appreciate it. So in Cagliari, it is pretty well developed. So as you can see, we have the gold mine here. We can't upgrade it just yet. We do need some more money, but if we do, we will be getting quite a bit of money in from that. It also helps the development growth, which is nice. And we, of course, have a duchy building we can build here and one more building spot as well. So really, Cagliari will make a pretty good capital for our kingdom here, our island kingdom. One thing I had just remembered was that we may be able to convince the Archon here to join us. We could try to sway him. We don't need to sway the Pope any longer because he already likes us well enough. And he's pretty close to accepting vassalage. Even if we have to give him low feudal obligations, he might still accept. So let's try to win him over. Mental break, wanton desires. Lately it feels like I'm constantly being distracted by lascivious thoughts and erotic fantasy. You know, King Jordan has suffered with this for a long time, and I think he's finally going to become reclusive after all this. He's even gone bald in his old age here. Yeah, he's going to withdraw from courtly life and leave things more in the hands of his able counselors, such as Count Gilbert. Will basically be running the kingdom in many ways. So King Jordan withdraws a little bit from life now that he has raised himself to the position of king. Could call for a hunt. That would reduce our stress, but it would cost us some money, and we do want to save up a bit of money. The King of Sicily continues to make some conquests here in North Africa. Well, good for him, I suppose. A night to forget. By God, this party is boring. Raynor has got to be the worst host the world has ever seen. How can mortal man be expected to endure this snoring celebration of mediocrity? My eyes cast about the room, looking for a diversion, any diversion. Turstan gives me a friendly wave from a nearby balcony, In the corner, Senilda stares daggers at me. I've got to do something to stop this evening from dragging. Perhaps I could get to know Turstone better. I could subject Senilda to a tirade. That is JJ's wife, funnily enough. We could just make the best of things or quietly slink away. Well, we did just become reclusive, so unfortunately I think the worst of the options makes the most sense for our character. So, as things tend to go for us. Well, that was a nice little party there. Well, not really, actually. It was kind of a terrible party, but hey, at least we went, you know. We showed up, we made face, and then we left. So, that's what it takes sometimes. So we can actually construct our new duchy building here in Cagliari. So I think we're going to look for one. Which one would make the most sense? Jousting grounds might fit for our Norman origins. Leisure Palace, no. Royal Preserves, no. I think perhaps Jousting grounds. Jousting grounds seems pretty cool. Royal Armories, levy size. You know, we are a military type ruler. If we had gone down the chivalry route, maybe we would have picked Jousting Grounds, but I think Royal Armories actually makes a little bit more sense. Well, military academies also might make sense too. More knights, knight effectiveness. No, I think we're going to select the Royal Armories here. So we'll start constructing that here in Cagliari. Today I met a lesser nobleman who lives in a town nearby. He's a serious fellow, and our conversation drifts to the topic of our childhoods. As a child, he tells me, I used to play by the edge of town. My elders warned me, as it used to be the cemetery. One day, I met a kindly old townsman. He warned me I shouldn't come, and pointed out various misfortunes as evidence, such as the crows, or that time I got sick and almost died, or the thunder, but I laughed it off. The last time we met, he told me, I tried to warn you when you were a child. I told you not to get lost in the wild. I sent omens and all kinds of signs. And then? I mentioned his name to one of the village elders. He frowned. She said that was the name of her deceased grandfather. Wait, no one in town shares his name? Maybe it was a prank. Or his spirit warned you, yet you refused to listen. Alas. You know, there has been a lot of weird, like, ghostly stuff, you know. Very superstitious people here. Obviously, King Jordan doesn't really believe in any of that stuff, but the people in Sardinia sure seem to believe in their ghost stories, that's for sure. Undisciplined recruits. Today I'm observing Count Gilbert as he trains some of his new levies, but the recruits under his command resemble a disorganized mob more than an army. I look on as he struggles to gain control of the situation, clearly pushed to his limits. While it's never easy to train new soldiers, he seriously needs to do better than this. Teach him what I know about command, cheer him up after the training is over, or chastise him for his failure. I think we'll try to teach him what we know about command, because he is going to need that in the future when he is the Prince Consort. Rejected. As I tap Count Gilbert on his shoulder, he throws up his hands and shouts, "This is not my fault, Jordan." Ooh, just Jordan? Wow. I'm your king. These idiotic peasants don't know their right hand from their left. How can anyone be expected to turn this rabble into an army? I am disappointed in Count Gilbert. You know, you were a decent son-in-law, but now I'm starting to change my mind. Better not keep acting like this, Count Gilbert. Buck up. Get better. Be better. Oh, nice. Our control is increasing here in Cagliari. So let us also increase it in Tortoli as well. That shouldn't take too long, it looks like. We couldn't sway the Archon. We may consider offering him a gift at some point. How much will we need? Well, we'll probably need more than just that one gift. We will need to sway him over a little bit. For our martial perk, I think we're going to continue down the overseer tree and choose prepared conscription. That reduces our maintenance and reinforcement rate. So that's perfectly good. To the impressive King Jordan of Sardinia, I call on you to honor our alliance and join me in the war for Count Lambert's claim on the Duchy of Normandy. So it looks like Count William of Lisieux is asking us to join in, along with Count Lambert of Alençon, against this 2-year-old child. Well, okay, so be it. I suppose we can raise a few troops and send them off over there. So why don't we do that? So we're just going to raise the local army. It's not going to be all our troops, and I don't really want to raise all my troops for this war because it doesn't really have that much to do with us, but we will, of course, honor our call to arms. Hopefully we'll get a little something out of this. Maybe we'll get some money or prisoners that we can ransom off. That would be ideal. And who's going to be in charge of the army? Gerard de Toron. Yes, I think that seems fine. Let our marshal head over there and handle that situation. So you can see here that we are laying siege to the barony of Bayeux. And Gerard de Toron is leading that for us. We might as well just attach to the allied forces here. And we'll let our good marshal handle this, and we'll trust him to do what needs to be done over there. We need to run our kingdom here. So we're currently saving up some more money, which is good, and we will use that to continue to expand our holdings. I am listening to a debate between 2 local physicians on the best way to treat a certain medical ailment. Though I don't understand everything they discuss, their expoundings on various medical theories and ideas, such as the 4 humors, how the various organs of the body work, and what herbs are most effective, are strangely fascinating. How learned they must be. Our learning may have increased. We're a little bit old to be switching over to a learning focus, though, unfortunately. I sit, paying only a little attention as the peasant finishes their tale of woe. Frankly, I barely even registered what they were talking about. My mind is full to bursting with my own problems. How can I even know you're not lying? I reply without thinking. The court around us goes utterly silent, all eyes on the bewildered commoner and me. Evidently, that wasn't the response they expected. Leave, all of you. I become a strange recluse. We were very near to death there. The Pope has given us some more money as well to fund our projects here, which is good. Somebody's trying to kill one of my knights. Less good, but we'll, have to take it as we come here. I think we may try to expand one of our baronies here. So Oh. Well, that came quite suddenly, actually. I was expecting him to live a little bit longer. But no, King Jordan of Sardinia has abandoned his mortal coil at the age of 69. Well, he lived a nice long time. He died of old age. Known to be an exceptional strategist, he spent many of his days examining fields and drilling his troops. Queen Fredesenda ascends to the throne. A modest and temperate woman, Fredesenda's passive nature may also be her undoing. I suppose we shall see. Continue as Queen Fredesenda. So, King Jordan has died at 69 years of age after conquering Sardinia, following in his father's footsteps, winning over the Pope, and being crowned king. He has finally given up on this life. I think ever since his wife his wife Emma died, he has not really been the same. He lacked something in his life that he could not get back. And thus, he buried himself in his work and in his conquests, which can only sustain a man for so long. No, he was due for this world no longer. And now his daughter, Queen Fredesenda of Sardinia, takes his place. Will she rise to the occasion? Will she be a good queen, a powerful queen? Will she be a match for her father? No doubt there will be some who underestimate her, but she was more like her father than anyone else. So, what do you guys think is in the reign of Queen Fredesenda? Will she live a long and hale reign? What kind of accomplishments will she achieve in her lifetime? If you have any little bits of eulogy for good King Jordan, throw those in the comments as well. Thank you guys for watching. I have been Straight. We'll see you all in the next one. Until then, have a good one, everyone.